Hi guys, so we're going to do an activity here on continental drift, which, as you are aware hopefully, was a hypothesis proposed by Alfred Wegener, German geophysicist back in 1912. And there's some information here that you're going to want to read because it's going to make it easier to answer the questions on the quiz. So there's essentially like three parts to this activity. One is you're going to take a quiz over it when you're done with everything, and you can use this paper to do that. Should make it very easy. The other part is that you're going to get a piece that looks like this in the packet, okay? And you're going to be putting together, recreating Pangea by moving the continents around to where they would fit together. Okay, so when you're done with that, you're going to take a picture of what you've created here. I'll show you here in just a second, and you're going to upload that to It's Learning for me, okay? After you print this out, what you're going to have, and if you can't print this, I'm going to show you here in a second kind of how you can recreate it. Essentially, what you can do is you can read it on the internet, and you can just create your own little table here and fill out this table, because this is the part that you're really going to need. Okay, the questions down here, take a glance at them, but you don't have to have them filled out to do the activity, okay, even to take the quiz. All right, but definitely read this part here and then fill out this table here. Now, how do you fill out this table? What you're going to do is we're looking at some different fossil organisms over here. Here are their names, and what you're going to do, here is the little key with some pictures of them right here that we're talking about. Rock types are not fossils. So right here, you're going to look these up on the internet to try and find out a little information about them. So first of all, the time period in which they lived. You can look up time period lived, Cynognathus. You could look up time period lived, Mesosaurus, time period lived, Lystrosaurus, Glossopteris, like that, and it should come up. It might give you actual period names like Middle Triassic or Early Permian, something like that. It's fine if you write those down, but what I really want you to get definitely is an actual date. So a date like, say, 300 to 200 million years ago, and make sure you put the million on there, because millions very different than billions is very different than just plain old years, okay? So we want kind of a range of when they lived on the planet, okay? Over here, we're going to ask you which continents the fossils were found on. So present day, which continents are these things sitting on, the fossils? And you can very easily do that by simply looking at the picture here. So if you take Lystrosaurus here, it's a little bit confusing because it looks a little bit similar to this one, but just take a close look there. This one's got a little tail on it here. So you're going to see here, you'd say, okay, well, it's in Africa, so you'd write down Africa there, and you'd look around. Where else do we have it? Oh, look, there's some over here. There's some over here. Okay, so you'd write these three continents down right here for which continents the fossils are currently found on today. Now, describe the current climate where these fossils were found. So we're talking about what's the current climate of these things. And this is not arranged as a regular map. All it is just the continents are cut out and they're fit on this paper. Okay, this is not how they fit together to make Pangea, and it's not how they currently reside. So in order to figure out what the climates were in these different continents, you're going to need another map. And I've concluded one with the activity. It's going to be black and white if you print it out, but I colored it in for you here so you can see it again. The other thing that you can do is you could just look at it in color when you download and look at the activity. So let me show you that here really fast. Let's say, pull you up here. Let's say you're looking at your computer there. Get you zoomed in here, and you're on the Continental Drift activity paper on your computer on It's Learning, and it comes up here. Well, it's going to be kind of small, okay? It's in color on here. If you click the download button, you can download it. If you just go to the viewer, I don't think it makes it very big. It's still pretty small. So try and click the download, and when you download it, it will look like this. Okay, depending on what your PDF viewer is, you will probably see that this is, of course, not the right direction, right? It's sideways. So is the next map, the one that you're going to need here that's in color. So what you can do with most of these PDF viewers is that you can, of course, take it and, oops, I'm losing it here. Just a second. There we go. You can tell it to view tools here, rotate. So we want to rotate right. Okay, and now that thing is the correct orientation. So that's really easy to do. Just about every single PDF viewer, if you're using a Mac or if you're using Windows, is going to have a way for you to rotate. Just look around, rotate this one left. There we go. And now I've got that one left. So it'll make it a little bit easier. It's just the other way in case you want to print it out. So now I can look at this here. For this part that I'm talking about right now, we want to know what the zones are. And this is a climate zone map of the world. So we've got polar, we've got temperate, we've got subtropical, and we've got tropical zones. Okay, and they're color coded over here. So just take a quick gander there, and I've got the same thing down here. I wrote it on this map here, and if you're not sure what the continent names are, well, you can look up another map online, or if you just look here, I actually wrote all the continent names in for you just to help you out. So let's take one of these, and we'll just try and do it here ourselves. So we're talking about, let's see here. How about we do, let's do a simple one here. Let's see. Okay, so this one's only on 2 continents here. So we're going to do, I think I've got that right. There we go. This guy here, and same one is over here. Okay, so the fossils that we happen to be looking at is Cynognathus, which is this guy here, and he's only on 2 continents. So let's look at it kind of where he's at here. He's kind of in the middle segment here of Africa. So on my map here in Africa, he's just definitely falling kind of like up sort of in this range right here, and that would put me in the tropical. So I would write tropical right here. There we go. Which continents found on? We did that already. We said South America. And we also said Africa. Okay. The climate of these 2 continents, the area that they're found on, we just said tropical for that portion of Africa. And then let's look at the South America part. Well, he's kind of like right here in South America. So looking at South America, it kind of falls into the tropical and the subtropical zones. So we're going to add in this guy here, we're going to add in the subtropical. See that? And now those 2 are done for this guy. Okay. Describe the prehistoric habitat where these fossil organisms used to live. What you're going to do here is you're going to do another search online. You're going to look for the prehistoric habitat. So the easiest thing to do would be to look up Cynognathus habitat on Google, and it's probably going to spit you out kind of just like where it's at. So what we're talking about here for habitat is, you know, did it live in ponds and lakes? Did it live in swamps or marshes? Or was it more woodlands? Like, what kind of an area did it live in? And later on in the quiz, you're going to be asked to compare that. Okay, for instance, if you had like a polar region over here someplace, like, you know what the poles are like, it's a frozen wasteland, and you had the creature actually truly lived in like marshes or something like that. Well, marshes don't exist in Antarctica, in a pole, right? So you're going to see some discrepancies here, and that's important because that's a really important piece of evidence for continental drift. If the continents have moved around and we find fossils of creatures that, first of all, couldn't have swam across an ocean this far, okay? And secondly, lived in a climate that is much more tropical than where that thing is at today, like say Antarctica. Like if we find tropical things fossilized under the ice in Antarctica, that tells us that Antarctica had to be somewhere other than over the pole, right, for that to occur. So that's kind of what we're getting at with this whole activity when we're putting this back together, okay? All right, let's see where we're gonna go from here. So that explains how you're gonna fill out this whole table. And like I said, if you don't have a printer at home and you can't get a paper, just make your own little table. It's pretty small, it doesn't take a whole lot to make this, okay? Take a look at the questions, finish reading through this, and the activity is going to go like this. So after you've got all those things described, you're going to print out this paper, okay? If you can't print this paper out, what I'd really suggest is to, let me just adjust my size here a little bit. There we go. You can do one of these. Take yourself a blank sheet of paper. It could have lines on it, that's fine, won't hurt a thing. The thinner the paper, the better. And you're gonna come over here to your computer screen, and what you're going to do, pull this guy a little closer here, you can see. There we go. Oops. What you're going to do is you're just going to lay this on here. And if you can see that through your computer screen, you can actually roughly trace out the continents, okay? I wouldn't concern myself with putting the fossils on them yet, because you can draw those in here in just a second. So just get it kind of rough. It doesn't have to be perfect. They're already sort of rough, right? So once you've got them traced out, then what I would do is I would continue looking at the screen there, and you can write in, you know, this is Africa. This was Australia. And then you're going to want to draw in some of the fossils. So I recognize it's a little bit more difficult here, or if you don't want to draw them, at least write their names in where they are, right? So we've got some Glossopteris here, right? Another one right here. That's an easy one to draw. You can just draw some little asterisk looking things. These are a little bit more complex to draw, right? But just kind of come up with the best thing that you sort of can, so you know, just some sort of symbol so you know what it is you're looking at, right? Then what you're going to do is you're going to cut all these out, okay? And I'm going to add one thing in here for you. In order to help you out, I added an extra Glossopteris right here. So that's Antarctica, and it will match up better with the rest of the continents if you kind of plunk in another one right in here. Okay, so that'll help you out some. So notice there's some here, there's some here, 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 and here. So when you go to cut these out, you don't have to be perfect. It doesn't have to be exact. Just get it kind of close, okay? I'm cutting out India right now. Okay, so remember, India is separate. It's not really separate on a real map. The reason is because during the time of Pangaea, India was not attached to the rest of Asia like it is today, okay? So it's not going to go there. That's not where it actually fits. That's where it used to, that's where it is present day, but in ancient times it was not connected, so we pulled it off of there. Okay, so you're going to figure out where it goes. Now, how do you line these things up? There's going to be sort of two pieces to this. The first piece that you're going to use, I'm going to cut this out real fast here so you can see. I'm not doing a very good job here. There we go. How are you going to figure out where these go? Well, you need to use both the fossil evidence and the mountain evidence. These are similar rocks in mountains, and we're going to line those up, okay? Mountains will exist kind of as a range, like there'll be a big long line of mountains, right? They're not going to be stacked up so much as there'll be a line of them. Now, the fossils, however, should line up pretty close. They may not really be exact, but they should be kind of fairly close, okay? So if I, for instance, take South America here, look at how it's sort of nice and neat. It fits right in there with Africa. Check that out. So that's the puzzle piece thing that Wegener was talking about. And most of these are going to fit together sort of like puzzle pieces. That's the whole idea of the activity. But how do you know which puzzle piece to go where? Well, when I take a look here, if I've got fossils lining up pretty nice and neat here, right? Actually, these guys here line up. Okay, don't get too concerned that these things dead end here. Glossopteris lines up really nice there. The Mesosaurus lines up really nice here. So I've got those things nice and put together. Now you don't have to paste them. If you want to, you can, to use tape or whatever, but you're just gonna lay them together and then take a photo for me, okay? After you've got them all put together, or if you're having any trouble putting them together, you could always look up a map of Pangaea, and that will, of course, pretty much make it really easy for you to put them together, right? Another place, and let me just give you this address because it might help out some. Find this here, there we go, back to this page here. When you're trying to look up some of these habitats here, one website that you might go to that I located was pretty easy to find things on, www.thoughtco.com. There's loads of places you can find habitats and you can find time periods. I mean, just to search anywhere on the internet for the habitat of these creatures or the time period is going to pull this stuff up for you, okay? It's all over the internet. But that's a place where it's kind of, there's some nice organized things. If you search for the fossils, you'll find almost all of them there. Okay, so once you've got this all put together, what you're going to do is you're going to take a photo of it for me. Okay, and then you can email it to me if you can't figure out how to upload it, but there's an assignment on It's Learning where you can just go and straight upload the photo to the assignment. But either email it to me, message it to me on It's Learning, or upload it into the assignment. Any of those will work. Okay, so once again, let's go over everything you're gonna hand in, okay? This paper right here is just for you to use. You don't hand it in. All right, but you're gonna want this filled out so that you can do the quiz on this stuff, all right? You're definitely gonna wanna read this. This part here, you're gonna cut them out, you're gonna organize them as Pangaea again, take a photo, and then you're going to go ahead and send that to me. You can upload it to It's Learning, you can, however you want to do that, okay? Just get it to me. The climate maps to help you fill out the table are available on the activity. You can just look at them online, rotate them if you need to, make them big, download them. But if you just want to pause this video, I'll line it up here again for you. There's the whole thing. You could just look at that one right there. Or if you want to look at it on my computer screen here, I'll pull it up again here and you can look at it right here. Make it a little bigger for you. There we go. So there it is on my computer screen. If you just want to pause the video, you can go ahead and take a look at that too. I just don't have the continents labeled there. Okay, so either way works. Go ahead and work that out and take the quiz, hand in the assignment, and you're good to go.